What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? It is your main man, Juggernaut of multi-platinum production team, Arkatech Beatz. Welcome to the music production and beat making live stream. Just trying to get everything set up here, because we got to go live on multiple platforms all at different times. Shout out to Mahogany. What up, bro? Listen, welcome to the music production and beat making live stream, man. Listen, man. Every night we get together and we do start doing some stuff in terms of the live stream, in terms of making just some tracks, chilling with the chat, making it do what it do. If you do not know us, again, I'm Juggernaut of multi-platinum production team, Arkatech Beatz, Big Pun Nas, Jadakiss, Raekwon the Chef, Killer Mike, Waka Flocka Flame, The Game, Freddie Gibbs, Max B, and so many more. Shout out Rob Mully. What up, bro? If it's your first time here, make sure that you are like, commenting, subscribing, hitting the notification bells, all that other good stuff. Making sure you're checking us out at arkatechbeatz.com. Making sure you're getting all your music production needs. Making sure that you're getting all your resources for the music business in terms of your resources, in terms of the books, so that you're learning what's going on. Community coming soon, man. Mahogany, what up, bro? Shout out to Mahogany Beats, man. I got a sample in here, right? It's 4-bar loop. And we're gonna try to make it do what it do. Sped it up a little bit. Got a little groove to it though. My bad. Anybody asking about the samples? Samples are courtesy of quote-unquote splice.com. You know what I'm saying? So make sure y'all checking that out. Link is in the description. We're doing this here now. Let's see how we getting this done. I'm going to normalize this. Make it a little bit louder. I want to add a little bit of effects to it, just so it can sound more spacey, airy, whatever it is. Well, as we get started, you know what I'm saying? We're waiting for the chat to big up a little bit. Get some more heads over here on TikTok, etc. About to get started on it though. Rob Mully, what up? Rockasaurus, what up? We're gonna add some hi-hats to this real quick. Waiting for some more heads to get into the live stream, man. Boy, Swagger, man, I ain't had no rest last night, man. We had to meet some deadlines, man. So sometimes when we be in the joint, we just gotta meet some deadlines and stuff, you know what I mean? There's no rest in this game, man. Mahogany like, yo, if I don't add the drums to stop playing. Mahogany, we gotta build up the anticipation. This is the live stream, man. We just cannot just jump straight up into the beat. We have to talk our folks through the record. They're here to learn, you know, they're not here to, like, you know what I'm saying, they're trying to learn, like, you know what I'm saying, from us. Yo, if y'all not familiar with my man Arkatech Beatz, man, go check him out, man. Mariah Carey, Jay-Z, man. Big pun, man. He one of them ones. Let's go. And I still need you for the pod, bro. Let's go. Let's get an open hat in here real quick. It's a night rod. Paradigm, what up? I did on this, I added I went on the main outputs, and what we did is we went to the master bus, and then we added in a for right now, in the mix and master chain. I added in something into the master bus, and it's really just a default, and it's just so that I can keep some of this stuff in level until I can kind of get to the end, and then I'll figure out like how I want to level stuff out. Because what I've been noticing is that while I'm doing everything, certain sounds are coming through too loud. So I just want to be able to control that during the live, because it has a limiter on it. Richie Mays, what up? Thanks for the gifts. Vito, what up? Add this in real quick. One more time. Now I got a vocal sample that I pitched up. It started here. quick. Vito, thanks for the gift. Thanks for the super chat. Let's go. Shout out to everybody that's in the live. I'll fix it. Let's go. Shout out to everybody that's in the live. That sounds so crazy by itself. That sounds so crazy by itself. Sounds crazy by itself. Sounds funny to me. We'll fix it. We'll figure it out. Making sure. Let's go. Let's add this 808 in. Got another sample. I'm trying to stem separate this. Shout out to everybody that's in the live. Shout out to everybody that's in the live on a Friday night. Trying to get this thing done. Late on a Friday night. Shout out to the new followers, new subscribers, new supporters. Appreciate you, brother. I'm just waiting for the stem separator to kind of get it. I want to separate those two. I want to see if I can separate a little bit of those sounds. If I can just isolate just the chords and not the extra air candy and have it by itself, I want to have more control over it. So we're waiting for it to process. You can EQ it too. I think that's kind of like the. I really don't want the bass in it. that in real quick. So what I'm doing with the layering has the when you do the stem separation, it kind of breaks everything out into a layer. So you have to determine if you want all of the parts of the stem separation to be part of separate layers, or if you wanted to play it by itself. So what I did is I just removed the parts that I wasn't using from the stem separated. So all I want is the high pass without the bass in it. So that's what you hear right now, Arkatech. You ready? I'm using the Akai stem separating plugin. So that's what I'm using to get the supposed high pass filter. I'm gonna trigger it one more lower. best way to start making beats. You got to pick a platform. You got to pick if you want to go hardware like this with the MPC, or if you want to go software like stuff like FL Studio or Serato or Ableton or anything in between. If you decide to go with the hardware, then we're doing the majority of our tutorials in the hardware. But as we move to the other platform, we will be doing some stuff in some software. But you gotta pick something that's easy for you to get started, something that you're gonna understand. And I think that's probably like the largest issue. It's just getting into something that you understand, something that you like using, and something that you'll stay consistent on for the beginning of your journey. Shout out to everybody in the live. Chad, I'm going to need a name for the beat. And I apologize for the low energy tonight. Just started late. I got to make sure I'm getting more rest. Gliding? Man, that sounds too close to sound like a Diddy party, bro. Be careful. just trying to find the right sound before I change the octave, Richie. I'm not even sure. I don't know if you guys notice it. Right, the synth is hitting one way at 50 velocity, and then when I go back to 100 velocity, it sounds like this. So when I take it down, it creates more of a muted effect, especially on the attack. Yeah. I like that. paradigm. We named this joint 2 a.m. Now, you guys know that at 2 a.m., ain't nothing going on in these streets that you're supposed to be outside. And if you're a family man and you're outside at 2 a.m., you're probably creeping. And we don't condone that on this live stream. Let's go. That's a whole different beat, right? Doing our Barry White on this one. We gotta get this piano in there somehow. Vaughn, what up? Thank you for the gift. It's already there. If you listen to it. Right? So all I'm doing is going an octave up. I just need to play it so that it'll match it, because you know it has that. It's easier to play on the keyboard, of course, but I gotta do it on pads because you know you guys are out of my keyboard range. One more time. Here we go with the nonsense. I was playing it just fine a minute ago. That's the pressure of the camera. The camera pressure, boy, I tell you, boy. Keep the best one, and we'll repeat it. That's trash. Nope, that's not it. Let's change the timing. Mac Mamba, thank you. One more time. Last one is good. So we're gonna go in there, we're gonna take that, we're gonna snatch it and copy it. I ain't gonna sit there trying to play this on this pad. I'm having what you call it? I'm having performance anxiety. I'm having performance anxiety while I'm making tracks. And nobody wants that. Nobody wants online and performance anxiety. It mess up when it's time right before you. Yeah, it's just your brain. You know how your brain works. Yeah, it ain't got nothing to do with nothing. It just be your brain. It's all good. That's the whole point of the process, man. So you can see it with the flaws and all, like a Beyonce song. Did I just say that? 426. Okay. All right, we're gonna copy that, and then we're gonna go to the right bar to paste it. So if you notice, it's gonna go to bar 1, beat 2, tick 6. That's where it starts. You have to paste it there. Hold on, to make sure that it went where it's supposed to go. It's almost there. Let me just maybe nudge it a little bit. So how's everybody that's in the live? Alright, I think that might work better. Actually, where's it starting at? It's starting on 1.2. Okay, cool. All right, so what we're gonna do? Let's copy that, and we're gonna go to 2.2, right? And we're gonna duplicate it right there. What are you doing? Hold on, undo. We're gonna paste it right here. Alright. And then we're gonna go do the same thing here again. Go 3.2. Gonna paste it one more time. And then we're gonna fix the last one. Because the last one is not starting on the 2. And we'll nudge that over. And I think we should be good to go. All right, let's get everything back in. All right, let's go. Max B to get home, right? You say pause, my guy? Y'all do know that we produce while you do that, right? So when I said we can't wait for Max B to get home, we can't wait because we did Why You Do That. So we want to do more Why You Do That. So that's why we can't wait for him to get home. So you turning that into a pause, man. Like, I'm from New York, man. You talk about pause, Okay, I just caught that. Shout out Brian Smith, man. Let's go. Bronx. Paradise. We thought this was a safe zone, right? Nobody is safe from the pause. The pause is everywhere. Oh, no man is safe, man. But not for nothing. It's necessary in today's society. Everything is going crazy. We're trying to see if we can break down the song. Let's listen to it from the beginning. We're gonna go from the hook. We're gonna go to the first part of the verse and the second part of the verse, kind of like a pre-chorus, and let's see where we land. Right? missing everything. Wow. We're going to do this vocal sample. Going to make this come in on 4 bars. I think we got it, people. I think we got it. Let me just copy this last hook and turn this into the hook with the tag. Then we're going to add our producer tag on it. And we should be good. We should be money. Shout out to everybody that's in the live, man.
Arkatech Beatz.
definitely we trying to cook this up with nice. We trying to cook this up with some fish grease. Think we might be all right now. Shout out to everybody in the live. Up late on a Friday night. 12:30. All right, we're going to go from the hook to the verse, pre-chorus, hook, verse, pre-chorus, hook, and then verse, and then we out of there. Y'all ready? Let's go.
Arkatech Beatz. Back to the verse. Yo, where's J. Cole at, man? Shout out to everybody that is in the live, man. Listen, Masculus is saying the samples are clean. These samples are courtesy of Splice. Splice.com. Make sure you're checking out the link in the description. If you do not have a plan to splice, you are doing yourself a disservice. Not only do you have millions of sounds, you also are all royalty free, bro. So appreciate y'all, man. FL Studio, yo, man, if you're using that, man, it's all good. To me, it's all relative, you know what I mean? It's all about how you know how to use it. Yeah, a lot of it is just transition. Remember what we're doing with this, bro, is we're just stripping the tracks down, man. You know what I'm saying? Like once we've built our hook, right? We just strip it down. You know what I'm saying? Because now we have to make space. So we got to make space. We got to make space for the rap. We got to make space for the content. You have to make space for the context. We have to make space for the cadence, right? Because remember, the final instrument is the vocal, right? We have to remember that. So because the final instrument is the vocal, we have to provide space for that. And we have to make sure that the artist is clear on, the key and the tone that it needs to be in. So that's why we have to make sure that everything is in the same key, making sure things aren't really contrasting too crazy, so that we know that so that when it's time for somebody to jump on it, then we're going to have that marriage that we really need to have. Anybody get on the new Ghostface album, Supreme Clientele 2? What's your thoughts on that? What's your thoughts on that, on the new album? And then when you compare it to Raekwon's Emperor's New Clothes and Supreme Clientele 2, what are you guys thinking out there? What's the vibes? Born Ready, I see you. Salute from Chicago. Did I go up an octave? Yes. You know what I'm saying? Because it's already there at where the sample was. So if I'm going to play something similar, I might as well push it up one to make it feel like it's stacked. Also, it helps to hide the imperfections of the sound that I'm using in contrast to the sample itself. Because, if you have a sample that's a piano and then you're using a piano plugin or patch, it's very rare that the sounds are similar, or that they So you have to play this game of octaves and then this game of volume and velocity to kind of get those things to trick your ears into believing that it matches, right? Even though we probably know it doesn't. Now this joint done. I ain't doing nothing else to it. It's finished. This joint. It's just a wrap. You know what I'm saying? So, and then I had to clean up a joint earlier today. I'll play that for y'all because there was somebody that was asking for it. So I don't know, man. These live streams be funny, boy. People be in the DMs crazy, man. Be like, hey, can I get that? Can I get this? And be like, be like, what we working on, you know what I mean? A lot of it's about what you're working on. And then also, like, where you are.
Arkatech Beatz.
We do got the Lost Dreams album, instrumental album. That's out next week on the Orchard. So we are putting out a little instrumental album next week. So that'll be out next Friday. So y'all can look out for that, man. It's called Lost Dreams. If you go to arkatechbeatz.com, you may be able to preview it right now. We're getting the private, letting people, we're letting our chat folks be able to privately check it out right now. You know what I mean? I think we did what's this called? Magical Nights. Shout out to everybody that's in the live, man.
Arkatech Beatz.
Marcellus is asking how come this room isn't stacked. It's because people gotta share it. They gotta share it. That's the situation. People got what I'm noticing is that some of my folks is gatekeeping. And we not supposed to be gatekeeping, you know what I'm saying? But I noticed that some folks is gatekeeping. Don't do that. Share it with the folks that need to see it, man. You know what I'm saying? There's been a lot of producers out here that are trying to get it in. And look, a lot of the stuff that we have, a lot of the music that we've been hearing has been, you know, it's gotten bad because, you know, we let the folks who don't really have true industry experience teach folks how to make music. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all got, you know, a lot of the guys who don't really have the experience in terms of like the placements and what it takes to place, and then what it takes, the politics of dealing with people in the music business. And there's a lot of nuance to this thing. And, you know, a lot of us older guys, we were staying off the internet, you know what I mean? So then you got certain guys that kind of, you know, they blow up on the internet, and then they become the authority, and they become the voice of it all. And it's like the blind leading the blind. You see, he can say, he said, I'm going to gatekeep too. That's what's up. Somebody's asking what placements I got. I got placements for everybody, man. I got placement for from Big Pun, The Prodigy of Mobb Deep, Jadakiss. You know what I'm saying? So let's start it. Let's put it into real context. The first record that we ever produced was Big Pun's Capital Punishment. So I want to put that in perspective. This is Big Pun's first album, triple platinum. The name of the album is Capital Punishment. We got the title track. We're on this album with Rockwalla. Who else on this album? Black Thought, Noriega. Shout out Young Lord. RZA, Havoc. You know what I'm saying? So this is the company that we've been in. So we produced on that first album with Pun. We produced Leatherface on Pun's second album before he passed away. Rest in peace. Then we did Triple Threat on the Terror Squad album. Then we did some other stuff for Boot Camp. And then after that, we went straight into Raekwon stuff. So we did a whole bunch of Raekwon, American Cream Team. You know, at this point, you know, Wu-Tang was doing this thing that was a little bit different. You had RZA and Ghost on one side, and then you had Power and Ray on the other side. And they'll tell you that, you know, nothing was going on. Everybody was cool, but everybody was cool, but, you know, you can just see people were just trying to create their own identities. So let me just leave it like that. All right, so I won't say it's beef. I would just say that you have guys that were just trying to control their own destinies. So that is what it is. So, you know, with Raekwon, the stuff that came out, we did Respect Power, which was on the White Boy soundtrack. I don't know if you guys remember that. Then we wind up doing a bunch of records with Ray. So we also did, you know, It's Not a Game, for the black and white soundtrack, the black and white movie. If y'all don't remember that black and white movie, that's the black and white movie with Raekwon, Method Man, American Cream Team, Allen Houston from the Knicks. If y'all remember that, Allen Houston from the Knicks. Then it had Frodo Baggins, Elijah Wood in the joint, and Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr., along with Mike Tyson, Claudia Schiffer, and everybody else in the game. So, you know, so you gotta understand, like, this is where we coming from. So we did most of the music supervision on that. James Toback was one of these directors that had a Oscar for the movie Bugsy and all of that. You see Brett Ratner, you'll see Trump's ex-wife, Marla Maples on set, all types of weird stuff. So this is just the journey. So on Raekwon's album, we did Live from New York, Casablanca. We did the intro on that album. Then we did The Table, and then Jury, which is featuring my folks, You know, the homie Sean Anthony Baker wrote the hook on that, and of course my wife sang the vocals on that record, The Jury, if you remember that. And we fast forward from there. We did The Game, Never Be Friends, and we fast forward a little bit more. We started doing stuff for like Maya, and we did like a record called Back to Disco. Then we did another record with her and Shorty Low. I wound up going to Atlanta. Then we started doing like, we did a little Scrappy. You know, he had a record called Big Boys Poppin'. He was featuring him and his daughter on the record. And that's when Scrappy was signed to G Unit though. So shout out to him, because he was one of the first guys in Atlanta that gave us some love. A lot of guys was fronting on us, but he was the one that let us, you know, work with him. And, you know, we learned a lot working with him. Then we went to Alley Boy, and then, you know, we did a whole bunch of stuff on Alley Boy's first really big Warner mixtape. If the people from Atlanta, they know, because, you know, Alley Boy is the one that kind of, you know, Alley Boy is kind of like the low-key king of the YNs in Atlanta. That whole duct tape squad. If y'all know, if you know, you know. You know what I'm saying? So if you know, you know. So, you know, we did a bunch of Alley Boy stuff, man. Bunch of stuff with Alley and Trouble. Rest in peace to him. Then from Alley we did Walker. Then from Walker and Alley we did Killer Mike. Then we started doing Gibbs. Then we did Gibbs. Then we did Saha. Lloyd Banks. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, you know. And right now we doing a bunch of BSF stuff. So stay tuned, man. Yeah, if you're on YouTube, man, there's a playlist that has all of the records, man. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of the stuff that we're doing now, and I know the stuff that we're doing now, and I think it's just because of, you know, just because of experience. I think the stuff that we're doing now will far surpass some of the things that we did before. Because also we're in a position where now we can be in the studio and have a voice. You know, before, when you're in the studio, you really don't have a voice as a new producer. When you're a producer coming up, you don't really have a voice. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have because you're worried about the ego of the artist that you're working with and making sure that you're not offending anybody, because you're just trying to make the album, you're trying to make the cut, you're trying to be selected. So there's a lot of stuff that you do that you might kind of compromise, you know, in the name of, you know, just trying to get placed, you know, because remember, you're in the business of selling music. So you want your music to be sold, so you're not really trying to make too much waves when you're in the studio. And I think that's part of the game here, is that you have to know, you know, when to talk, when not to talk, or really understand when you have leverage and when you don't have leverage. So, you know, now we're in a position where we can kind of speak freely, and you know, I kind of went on a rant today on Instagram. I kind of was telling folks like, yo, I don't like the way some of these albums are sounding, and that's my opinion. I don't like the way some of these albums are sounding. A lot of these albums are sounding really mediocre to me, and I don't think they should sound mediocre. I think artists today have access to the best production ever. I repeat, artists today have access to the best production ever at the lowest prices ever. So I don't understand why the music is mediocre. I don't understand why each track is not banging. I don't understand why the records are not being laced together from front to back. I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense to me. But what makes sense to me is that there's no one in the studio to tell the artist, don't do that. That's trash. Now, money could buy the creativity, because what happens is it's like this. Like, think about it, right? Just take a site like BeatStars. Just take a site like BeatStars. When have you ever had a site like that had artists had access to millions and millions and millions of music tracks? Right. Co-signers and rappers don't know how to. What do you say? Right. Co-signers and yes men don't know how to pick tracks. You're absolutely right. Yes. All the samples are straight, and no, there's no. Remember, we're using what we're using. We're using something that's totally royalty free, so we don't have to worry about sample clearance at all. No, there's really no logistics. The only it's like everything is there listed on the site. So when we do our limited licensing, basically you'll get a download that'll have the license in it, and everything is attached into it, and it allows you to do what you need to do up until certain thresholds. Listen, once you start, basically how we've done it is like this. We've created an entry level situation for people to work with us, right? Because we know that on a traditional level, most folks are not going to be able to afford to pay what we want them to pay. So we've created an entry level situation where, listen, you can do what you got to do on it, right? We're not selling a lot of the same beat. That's the one thing that we want to make sure of. We're telling folks that we're not selling a whole bunch of the same track. We don't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? What we're trying to do is we're trying to limit it to certain serious people who really are serious about what they're doing. And if people are serious about what they're doing, then they'll take care of it they'll get into it, right? They'll do what they need to do. And then what happens with that is that we also have a situation where, look, we know who's licensing our music, and then we know who to work with, and we know who to help behind the scenes. Now, I'm not really familiar with that one. All tough. What up? Right? Or one pair of Alexander McQueens and one pair of Pradas. Thank you, Nick. If you're paying that for somebody who's sold millions of records, that's basically free. Anybody on YouTube, if I'm YouTube or Twitch or Kick, if I'm glitching, please hit that in the chat so I can see if I have to refresh the stream. Hey Dom, I get you and I understand, but you have to also understand too, like I've been there. When I say I've been there, meaning like I was also an artist coming into the game. You know what I'm saying? I was also an artist, and you know, I was also an artist, and then I also spent thousands of dollars on studio time. I was an artist, and before I decided to start buying my equipment, and then when I started buying my equipment, we're talking about buying, ASR 10 or ASR 88. That was like $4,000. Buying a ADAT, that was like another $3,500, and this is all in the late '90s. So people wasn't getting money then like they getting now. You know what I'm saying? So you know what I'm saying? So when I look at everything and I look at everything in the total context, I look at what I've been through. I look at what it took when I had artists and when I was searching for production, what we paid for production versus what people pay for production now, right? And if you watch the recent Scarface and Shannon Sharp, he said, listen, production used to be $200,000. It used to be this. It used to be that. $20,000 on a track, $15,000 on a track. You know what I'm saying? But what happened is people have gotten used to, the BeatStar numbers. But we're not those guys. Yeah. But there's options on there. But I think what people really don't understand about our price point, Dom. What people don't really understand about where we have our situation position, you're really paying for access, man. That's what you're really paying for. That's what people don't seem to understand. They're paying for access. They don't realize that you're building a relationship. You're trying to build a relationship with people who are connected and who can help you to save time, which will in turn help you to make money. Sorry, Don, we don't do that here. Buenos noches. This is the track we did tonight. It's called 2 a.m. For those who missed it, I'm gonna play it from the top, and then we're about to wrap this up. Listen, man, we got a new community platform that we'll be jumping into in another. I'm hoping another 10 days. And that will be a little bit more that'll be a little bit more intimate in terms of folks being able to kind of play their music, us listening to stuff and stuff like that. Because what's happening is that on these platforms, you can't really do the stuff that folks do. Like some folks be on the TikTok and they do the guest stuff and all of that. But I'm streaming everywhere, so because I'm streaming on different platforms at once, it creates a situation for copyright and all that type of stuff. And then people get on your live, and then they start using certain language, and then you get demonetized, and all types of weird stuff start happening. You know what I mean? Look. Focus is dope. Thanks, Nick. Back to the hook. everybody to make sure that they're checking us out at arkatechbeatz.com. If you don't already have your if you don't have your equipment and you're looking to start, make sure you check out arkatechbeatz.com and you scroll down. We do have what we call a gears list, so you kind of have an idea of what you want to get in terms of gear. Also, we're giving away a free book. It's called The Songwriter's Guide to Song Registration, for guys who don't know how to register their records, right? It's the entryway for you to kind of start learning the different platforms and places that you need to fully monetize and protect your music. And for those who are a little bit more advanced, we have the Musician's Guide to Music Publishing, the Musician's Guide to Music Copyrights, and then the Ultimate Guide to Forming Your Own Music LLC. More things are coming. More tutorials are coming. There's a ton of resources on our site. Just make sure you check our blog. Add yourself to our newsletter. We have well over 7,000 subscribers on our newsletter. So, you know, the resources are there, man. The resources are there for new artists. And you know what I find interesting is that a lot of people just don't take advantage of the information. They don't take advantage of the access. They just don't take advantage of it. You know what I'm saying? And really, what we try to do is we try to, again, like I said, set everything at an entry level bar that makes sense for us in terms of our time, etc. You know, so it's not made for everybody, and we understand that. You know what I'm saying? And in this business, when you're for those who are getting into this business, that's the key thing that you have to learn. You have to learn that what you do is not for everybody, but it is for somebody, right? And the key here is to use the internet and use these marketing tools and different things like that to find your somebodies. And as you find your somebodies, your tribe will grow, and then you'll be good. You know what I'm saying? I think that what happens is we get too caught up in this virality thing, and virality doesn't necessarily support you over the long term in terms of your creativity and your art and your business. Not everybody eats McDonald's, but it doesn't stop them from making a whole bunch of money, right? Makes sense, right? So before I get out of here, you know I gotta play my girl Cody. Yeah, it's just the way that I think what happens is a lot of us we're not fully understanding when people talk about the algorithm, you know, the algorithm, like, you know. It's like, nah, the algorithm is working exactly the way it needs to work. It's showing your stuff to who wants to see it. You know, and in the beginning it won't be a lot of people. And it just takes time to build. And the question is who has the true passion, who has the true creativity, who has the consistency to keep pushing through. That's the game. You know what I'm saying? That's the game. The game is to test to see who can last. You know what I'm saying? If you're not a person that's not dedicated to it, if you're not passionate about it, then you ain't gonna last. And that's what it's designed here to do. It's designed to churn out the actors from the real folks. You know what I mean? Peace.
Arkatech Beatz.
It's a late night, I don't mind. I was gonna spend all my time with you. It's a good night, it's a good time. I was gonna spend all my time with you.
Richie. Peace, everybody.
It's a late night, I don't mind. I was gonna spend all my time with you. It's a good night, it's a good time. I was gonna spend all my time with you. If you down, we can do whatever. Know I got you, we'll be straight forever. Boy, I like it when you wear that sweater. Always tell you that you look better. When I need you came through. And now I'm feeling closer than I thought I'd ever be to you. It's a late night, I don't mind. I was gonna spend all my time with you. Yeah. It's a good night, it's a good time. I was gonna spend all my time with you. Yeah. It's a late night, I don't mind. I was gonna spend all my time with
Peace, y'all.
you.
Be safe.
It's a good night, it's a good time. I was gonna spend all my time with you.
Wait a second. I was going to jump off, but something just popped up. Hold on one second. I think there's something here that I need to double check something real quick. Shout out to everybody that's in the live, man. Shout out to all of the new followers. I was just about to log off, but something just occurred to me.
Arkatech Beatz.
And you know something else? There was another beat. Remember the night that we did the 3 samples and the chat chose all of those chose those records that night. Nah, I ain't trying to hold out, Richie. Everything that I've done in the last 115 days, I've done with y'all. You know what I'm saying? Outside of when I'm, doing the stuff with Cody, I do everything with y'all. But there's another beat here. Right, we did that one, and then we did like this one should have got done too. Someone is asking me what's my opinion on beat switches. I feel that too many artists have been overusing them. If you want me to be honest, I think beat switching is dope in terms of the creativity part of it, but from a business standpoint, it's a waste, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's a waste. And, like, for example, like, it's a waste, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because that's supposed to count as 2 songs, man. You know what I'm saying? So imagine me now. Imagine me on a platinum album, right? Say it's a platinum album, 10 songs. And then I got 2 records on there that have 2 switch ups. It's 4 beats, right? So that's really 4 songs versus 2, right? So you can do the math. So if you take it, so let's just say in a traditional production sense, a traditional, 1 million copies. Say the albums are selling at $10. We're not doing that anymore, but let's just say that's the case. 1 million, 10 million. And then what's supposed to happen is you're supposed to get 3% of that $10 million gross, right? Which would be basically, if my math is not crazy, 3% would be 300,000. Now that 300,000 is now supposed to be split. That's the producer pool. That's going to be split among 10 songs on the album, right? So roughly everybody would have earned, give or take, on the master recording side, maybe about $30K, whatever, right, in royalties. But if you said if you're having, 4 songs, you only got 2. You know what I'm saying? So you've basically, you robbed yourself of your own revenue. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm a fan of it creatively. I'm not a fan of it business-wise. You know what I'm saying? And this is the way that artists sometimes try to find a way to get more music out of you without paying for it. And they say, oh, that's just 1 song. It's 2 beats, though, bro. You feel how that work? Because and I know a beat switch is 2 beats. You knew that, and you know that, and I know that. You know what I'm saying? Especially if it's a good beat switch. If it's a good beat switch, then and I know that's 2 beats. And you're supposed to get paid, for it. That's 2 beats. But I digress on that level. So then if we move it to it, so then on the other level, what I don't like either is when these guys put 22 songs on 1 album. And that's the same problem again. Because remember what's going to happen is that everything is prorated. So again, 1 million copies, $10 a CD, $10 million gross. 3% will be the producer royalty from back in the day. I'm just using that as an illustration. It's capped at 300,000, right? That's the producer pool, 300,000. So what's better, 300,000 divided by 10 songs, or 300,000 divided by 22 songs? And that's what people don't understand. Like, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I got more. So yeah, this guy got more songs on this album, but that don't help the producers. It don't. It don't help the producers. It really don't help the artists. You know what I'm saying? But I understand, you know, the science now is to put out as many songs as possible to see if something catch. But you know, we got to find a better way to do that. You know what I'm saying? If you got to put out that many songs, that means you're not sure what you're doing, man. I'm sorry. if you putting out 22, 23, 24 songs, and you know, if it's not like halfway skits, and you know, like if you don't understand how to get that 22, 24 songs down to 12, that means that you don't know what you mean that you're not sure of what you're putting out, and you're just doing a shotgun approach, which is fine, but I don't think that, you know, that's why you need A&Rs again. That's why you need producers again. That's why you need folks to be in there to say yes, no, don't do that. People that you trust that got good music ears. But that's the game. I think a lot of times our critique, you know, a lot of times our critique of certain songs, of certain albums, you know, when we were talking about the Drake and Kendrick thing, and when I was shouting from the mountaintop like, yo, this thing is orchestrated. They called me a hater. They said I was a stan, blah, blah, blah. They said I was glazing, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, nah, bro. You can't tell that this thing is orchestrated. Like, you know when a song is orchestrated, you can tell. You got to be outside and get off the internet. When you outside and you see how people are moving to a record, or when the DJ turns it on and nobody's doing nothing, you're like, oh, this joint is really orchestrated. They really try to mind control you into loving this thing, you know. So excuse me, now everything is coming out, right? And this is part of the game, man. The game is like our critique of the game is that how do I have, like, think about, like I was saying, like, my music is supposed to sound better than it did. And the reason why I say it's supposed to sound better than it did is I got more tools. I got more experience, right? I got this MPC here. I got an MPC 2000 behind me, XL. My MPC 2000 XL can't do a third of what this one can do. So the question is why wouldn't the music sound better? Right? I don't have to spend hours and days and weeks going vinyl shopping all over the place. It should sound better. I don't have to be searching for sounds. I don't have to, you know what I'm saying? Everything is at my fingertips. It should sound better. This stuff is telling me what key the samples is in and all of that stuff. The music should sound better. So I got a lot of critique on these guys. And we got AI. So now the music should really sound better. I should not be getting a mid-album, bro. I shouldn't get a mid-album. And I shouldn't get mid-albums from legends. Not at this point. Not from legends that know how to really make music and have made timeless music. You know what I'm saying? But what happens is nobody's challenging them. You got to get challenged. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you're a legend, but you got to get challenged. You know what I'm saying? People come into the chat all the time and they be like, yo, I don't like that. That's boo-boo. You gotta get, you know, it's not for everybody, but we can't take that approach on everything. We have to also make sure that we're looking at, you know, certain things. You know, we're not listening to everything, but we have to make sure that if it's constructive criticism, that we're making changes. So, you know, we make it do what it do, you know what I'm saying? But y'all gonna get me to talking. I'll be here talking all night. One more Cody joint and I'm out. Yeah. So listen, then. So like I said in my post today, the next set of records that you hear from us, you know what I'm saying? Free Society, man. I don't know about that one, bro. It's kind of mid to me, bro. If I'm being honest. Compared to the first one, I draw mid to me, bro. I should have known something was up. I don't know what I don't know what's up with the whole Looney Tunes, cover and theme. It's kind of weird to me. But I digress. Which one you like better? You like Ghost or like Ray's better? Whose album you like better? Oh, you said there's no comparison between the two? That's the problem. You see how you just said that? That you said there's no comparison as far as what? No comparison between number 1 and number 2? Or no comparison between this album and the Emperor's New Clothes? Oh. Does that mean you don't like Ray's? I'm trying to figure out what went wrong. He said he should have named it something else. Listen, what's a mobilarity? Yo, you know, it's just this is just their creativity, bro. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you feel Ray's is better. Okay. Look, man. In my opinion, I feel that too. I feel like it's slightly better. But I don't even feel that album was received well either. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel like it was received good at all. And I noticed that too. Let me tell you, I noticed this stuff, and me and Mike be talking about this stuff because because we put out some unreleased Ray stuff on our YouTube all the time, and the unreleased stuff that we put out Ray on our YouTube is weird. It doesn't get nearly as much traction as unreleased Prodigy or Nas or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So it makes me wonder what's going on. But he's not as active as Ghost is. Ghost is very active in terms of music releasing. So that could be it too. For those who are just getting on, man, you got to check the replay out on YouTube. You could watch everything from the beginning there. We've been on for 2 hours and 20-something minutes. Or 2 hours and 30 minutes. So we're basically trying to wrap this up. I'm about to play this Cody. And we're about to get out of here, man. I appreciate y'all, man. Y'all have a good night. Be safe.
Arkatech Beatz.
You know I'm your ride or die. I'll be there every night. You know I'm your ride or die. You know I'm your ride or die. I'll be there every night. You know I'm your ride or die. Don't make me put you in a box and tie a ribbon around it when you say I don't love you.
Peace this time, Rich.